Hello, welcome back. Right, as you can see, subject of this video is Motos from Matertronic. Matertronic added dimension, so instead of being $1.99, it was $2.99. And Motos was a conversion by Binary Design, I think handled all three versions, of a Namco arcade game. Now, I'm not familiar with the arcade game at all. This came out, I used to play it on the Spectrum a fair bit back in the day, really enjoyed it. And I've always thought it was unusual that you know, an actual license was picked up by a budget software label and released. I know arcade conversions did appear, but they were usually re-releases. So if you're aware of any other ones that there may have been, please let me know. But yeah, we're going to see the Commodore 64, Amstrad and Spectrum versions in that order. The reason the Spectrum version is going right at the end is because that's the one I'm familiar with, and I've only for the first time played the Commodore and Amstrad versions today, and it's just as ever to compare the differences and strengths and weaknesses of each particular version and have a discussion about our memories of whatever one we had and what we made of the other versions that we're not familiar with. I've always had fun with Motos. If you don't know it, check it out. But let's get into the videos. Commodore 64 first. Okay, welcome back. Right, Motos from Matertronic, a conversion of an Namco arcade game from 1985. I don't know that arcade game at all. If you do know, shout up. Now, the Commodore 64 version is going first because I've never played it before. I'm only familiar with the Spectrum version of Motos. I used to play it a lot back in the day, and I think it's one of the best arcade conversions on the machine. It's really simple in its design. Basically, you are on a variety of boards. You control a little sort of spaceship thing, and there's loads of little space nasties, and you have to shunt them off the edge of the board and avoid being shunted yourself. Controllers are up, down, left, right, and fire for jump. Have to play it with keyboard, joystick again, as I'm not very good with joystick, so I don't know how far I'm going to get. There are bits and pieces to collect, power pills, which give you increased power and strength, and also wings. Once you've got them, you can jump. Right, let's have a go at this then. I'll tell a lie, I have played this briefly. Right, so it moves quite decently, and the music is really good, and I'm presuming this was a £2 or £3 on the Commodore 64 as well. So Commodore fans and owners, if you had this back in the day, what was your impressions and thoughts of it? Now, those ones that I've just pushed off there give me extra points if I manage to get rid of them. Now, you've got these big sods here who can be a bit of a pain in the arse, and it's usually worth trying to get rid of them first, he says. Oh. But this is, I always enjoyed Motos, always liked playing it. I never managed to get far in it at all, but it was really enjoyable. And like I said, you know, when everyone goes on about the best sort of arcade conversions around, this is really unusual. I don't know of any sort of examples of like a budget software house picking up arcade game licenses. So if you're aware of any, then please let me know. Now, the graphics are a bit sort of blocky, as you would expect from Commodore. Graphics are a bit, the colours are a bit, oh, flipping heck, a bit sort of muted. But it doesn't detract from the game at all. I'm quite enjoying this. You know, I tell a lie, it's the first time I played it. I had played about 5 minutes before I started the video. And, oh right, so here I've got to select the power pills I want. You can select as many as you want from that sort of, if you look sort of just that sort of selectable column there. Every time you collect pills, they appear in there. And the next one on the right is your lives. And underneath that you've got the wings that you can collect, which then give you the jumping ability, which hopefully I'll be able to show you. But yeah, really, let's just turn it up a bit. Really nice music going on there as well. Nothing spectacular or fancy, but if you knew Motos in the arcade, what was it like, and how accurate are these conversions? Right, so I want to select one pill. Up there you can see is a wing that I can collect, that I can then use on the next level to give me a jumping ability. Now you've got this little spinning atom thing. That's a pain in the flipping arse as well. That might even be game over. Now I've got one life left. Oh dear. Yep, we're getting ready. Right, you and me, Blue Ball, you and me. So I can use wings here now, which means I'll be able to jump, and that will crack the board. And if I then jump on that square again, as opposed to jumping off the screen, that's game over. I'm going to have to show you that again a little bit. But certainly a very decent little game. Right. Now, I said in what video was it? In the Booty video that I did, that I want to show more of these budget games, because there were do more comparisons as well, because there were some fantastic two-quidders out there. There was also an awful lot of dross, don't get me wrong, and I will be bringing you some of those. But there was also tons and tons of really good games. Ah! Bollocks. But yeah, always liked Motos. Always liked it. Because it's simple, I don't have to think too much about it. There's no puzzles to solve. I'm crap at solving puzzles. You know, never get stuck on a desert island or in a haunted house with me. We'd never get out. Right. Now that big thing in the centre is kind of like a generator for these space nasties. If you hang about too much, then that will spit out a few more, and that can make things more difficult than they need to be for you. Right. Okay, so it's a fairly basic, simple game. Right, so I'll just have the one pill. I want to make my way up there. Don't push it off the thing. Now, you've got to be careful with these, because they can ricochet you and knacker you right up. Right, on this one I should be able to select my pill and wing. So now I can jump. Now I always knacker this one up and end up jumping like that. Right. So you see I've only got the one meanie here, but the trick is to lure him. So I can jump now. Great. Right, last life, Baz. Come on, last life. Done it again. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not a very good saviour of the universe. Anyway, right, that is Motos for the Commodore 64. Now, the Spectrum version is going to go last, as I said, because it's the version I'm familiar with, and I think it's only fair that we give the ones that I don't know the opportunity to get the limelight a bit. So next coming up, we've got Motos for the Amstrad CPC. Okay, right, here we are. Oh, no, we're not. I've done that wrong. Let's try that again. Amstrad CPC. Oh no, I've got to put a speech mark there. Amstrad CPC 464 version of. No, I've done it wrong again. Of Motos. Not familiar with this game, this version of the game up until today. Amstrad owners, let me know what you think, what you remember of it, and anyone else who's familiar with either the Commodore version that you've just seen or the Spectrum version, which you're about to see after this. Just let me know what you think. Now, I really like that loading screen. That's very nice and colourful. Let's get on with this. We're only going to have a quick 5-minute go at it. The gameplay is exactly the same as to what you've just seen, and it is just to compare the similarities and differences between the three versions. Don't know if it came out on any other systems. Very nice music sort of playing there. Let's get into it. Start game 0. Right, here we go. Now, very nice colourful graphics. Immediately you'll notice it's quite a bit slower than the Commodore 64 version, which we've just seen. You know, it doesn't break it, but it is noticeable, especially when you've just come literally instantly from playing one version to another. If you had never seen any of the other versions. This probably would not matter much at all. But there's a bit more sort of inertia and pushback from the enemy sort of. When they bash into you, you seem to go a bit further back, or you bash into anything, you seem to go a bit further back than you did on the Commodore version. And I can't remember the Spectrum version, but we'll get to it in just a second. But yeah, still plays really, really nicely. Like I say, this is only going to show you a couple of levels just to show you what it's like. You can make your mind up whether or not you want to go and check it out. But you should, especially if it's if you like nice sort of simple games that you don't have to think too much about, because there's always, you know, games like this to sort of find. Right, come on, there we go. Right, 3 blue bubbles. So as you can see, yeah, exactly the same kind of game mechanic. Now I didn't notice those fireball things before though, and I can't remember if they're in the Spectrum version. But let's come on. And the game sort of window seems to be a lot smaller or narrower than the Commodore version. But again, it doesn't sort of take anything from it. But I've got the for the aspect ratio police, I'm set at 4:3. Which, as you can see, is leaving an awful lot of sort of real estate either side. But never mind. Oh, Jesus Christ, I've just done it again. Was doing that on the Commodore version. Right. And again. Oh, come on. Oh, he didn't jump. Oh, that's why, because I didn't select a jump. Right, yeah, silly Baz. There we go, I've won. Oh, have I won? Is it going to give me that? Oh, game over. Anyway, that's Motos on the Amstrad, just very, very quick. It's hardly any different from the Commodore version there. Or the Spectrum version, which we're going to see. Anyway, let's move on to that. Okay, welcome back. Right, final version of Motos is for the Spectrum. You can see really nice track screen here. This is the version, of course, I am familiar with, that I played with. I am playing it in 128K mode, so of course you've got some really, really nice music. Right, interestingly, there's options to play it in multi-chrome, so with a bit of colour. Or monochrome. So I'll show you both basically. So we'll start with multi-chrome first, and let's get into the game. Like I said, I used to play this quite a lot back in the day. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, the Spectrum version plays really nicely. It's quite zippy. As you can see, everything's moving around quite nicely. In comparison to the Amstrad version, which was a little bit slower. And you'll see also that the sort of rebound mechanic off of the objects is not as harsh or as severe as it was on the Amstrad version. You seem to sort of push back quite a way off that. But to be honest, you would only really have noticed the differences if you'd have been playing the way I've been sort of playing, basically one version after another with only a couple of minutes break in. If you'd never seen one or the other before, you know, you probably wouldn't have noticed those differences or paid attention to them really. So, you know, but I really, really like the way that the Spectrum version is nice and colourful. The Commodore version, you could see, was a bit sort of blocky. But the important thing is that they all played well. There wasn't a bad version of the game that I've shown you so far. Now, I really, really am impressed with the fact that, you know, this was a budget release, an arcade conversion, and it wasn't an arcade conversion that was a re-release. This was released by Matertronic, you know, having themselves picked up the license for the game. Now, I can't recall, please correct me if I'm wrong, of any other sort of examples where, you know, a budget label picked up an arcade license. Now, it may well have been that some of the more sort of obscure arcade games were picked up by Matertronic and the like, but I'm not aware of any. But oh, so interested to see and hear from yourselves if you know whether or not that's true or not. Right, so I just got to get rid of this knob, and there he goes. That's him done. But the beauty of Motos is that, like I've said before already in this sort of compendium video, is that it's really sort of nice and simple in its mechanic, which means, you know, even I can sort of sort this out without necessarily being good at it, but it doesn't require any spectacular brain power. The only sort of other game of its type scratching my sort of head that I can recall being similar would be something like, those of you that had the original these look like hairy knobs, knob and ball bags. If you had the original Xbox, if you remember the game Fusion Frenzy, the sort of party game thing, I think there was a similar mini game to this where you had to sort of push other players off the grid or off the playing area to win the game. There we go. Oh dear, killed myself. That's game over. Right, I'm going to show you the monochrome version of it now for you to just sort of see the differences. It's nice of them to sort of include those kind of differences on the game. Now bear in mind, like I've said already, this was just a £3 special. So let's go and have a look and see what it's like in monochrome. Oh, got to press 0. Right, here we go. Right, so yeah, it still looks decent enough, moving around really well. In fact, on levels like this particular one, it actually, although the colourful graphics are really nice too, oh shit, I forgot to collect the power up. This monochrome works really, really well on it. Oh, there's more of the bastards. Go on. Hey, Bags is on fire. Right, got to select my jump parts. Sorry, no, my power parts, which, as before, you know, give you a bit of extra oomph in the push. Sort of version of Space Viagra. Right, come on. Ah, he's knackered himself, the twat. Right, I didn't even have to do anything there. Right, I'll just do this level and then that's it, because I've shown you the game. So, you know, you can make your own mind up. Ah. Oh, suicide. Whoops. Whoa, and again. Right, yeah, basically I've shown you really the game there. That's it, let's move to the outro. Okay, there we go. That was Motos, starting with the Commodore 64, middle segment was the Amstrad, and finishing with the ZX Spectrum version. Now, like I said, I always loved the Spectrum version. I think it's a great arcade game. It's very, very simple in its design. Poor Baz's brain doesn't have to think too much about it. It appeals to me, and I revisit it quite often. I like the graphics, I like the sound, it plays at a nice pace, there's no sort of slowdown in it whatsoever, and there's really good attention to detail, and it's really, really nicely presented throughout. The option to switch between monochrome and colour graphics, I don't think I've seen that in any other games really. I'm sure there might be some, but I can't remember actually now. I've sort of put myself on the spot there. Commodore 64 version, a bit ugly, but it still played really, really nicely, had good sound. And again, you know, if you were a Commodore 64 owner back in the day and you had that in your collection, I presume it would have got some play. Now, I forgot to mention in the segment, it's actually You can play it 2 players, I do believe, but I never did. I don't know whether or not it's simultaneous or alternate. And the Amstrad version, as I said in the Spectrum segment, compared alongside that and the Commodore 64 version, it's actually quite slow, or visibly slower than those other 2 versions. And the rebound mechanic is a bit more, I'd say, aggressive in that you bounce back further when you make contact with an enemy. It doesn't break the game at all. And to be honest, I think I only noticed that it was slower by the fact that I'd been playing the Commodore 64 version immediately beforehand. If I'd just gone into it sort of fresh, I probably wouldn't have noticed it. But it doesn't break the game at all. And each version has really, really nice sound. The Amstrad's graphics, as usual, were nice and chunky and sort of colourful, although the playing window was a little bit squashed compared to the other versions. But you know, the important thing is each of them I enjoyed playing, and the purpose of the video is just for us to discuss what we like or dislike about the game. Like I said, I like the fact that it's really, really simple and I have not got to think about it. Even then, you know, I'm still crap at it, and I never used to get much further back in the day than you've seen. Anyway, if you like the video, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. But if you do subscribe, please, please, please make sure that you take the time to join in with the comments and discussion, because we have a good time when we do that. Okay, thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.